I want to give you a quick update. So one of the big things that kind of came up, if you missed it last week, you can watch the whole talk online. But essentially, we started talking about what was coming next for our church. I told you last week that we wouldn't continue to be meeting here past the end of March. So we'll be here through the end of March, and then after that, we'll be taking a step into something. And I told you I wasn't 100% sure what that was, and I'm still not 100% sure what that is. But don't worry, we've got 49 days. Now, so it'll be fine. Not that I'm counting, but anyway. So, but 49 days until Easter, and so we want to be wherever we're going to be next at that time. And so I told you there's several options that we're looking at, but then a few days before our service last Sunday, there was an article that got published in like the business news section, which was really fun, and it kind of told everybody that our primary thing that we're looking at right now is a place called Scala. How many of you have ever been to Scala? Anybody ever been to Scala? Oh, great. So you've been there, so you know what it is. So Scala, the story's been extraordinary. To tell you the truth, we had looked at this for a long time and even looked at leasing it for a while and seeing if that was a possibility. The door was always closed, and then all of a sudden the door just kind of flung open a few weeks after we found out we wouldn't be here. And so it's been sort of this amazing sort of journey. So we told you about it last week. If you haven't seen the message yet, we've got like a short, like 17-minute version of the announcement. I'd love for you to check that online. But to give you kind of the SparkNote version, we're looking at La Scala, several other places as well. So we're not 100% sure where we're going to be, but we're taking every step that we can to secure this as our next facility, and so we're doing that. And so I asked you last week to do 3 things with us. I said, hey, I want you to pray boldly, and I love this all throughout the week, and this is one of my favorite things. You guys would send me text messages and selfies and pictures at the La Scala property, so the jeweler place next door probably thought, what's going on over there? Which I love. Anyway, so you guys are doing that, and I just want to say thank you so much for praying about that this week. We said last week what we want to do is we want to pray for this building, that God would give us this building, and at the same time say, hey, if you have something else for us, that's great. And I'll tell you, Ryan and I think our faith was sort of tested on this past week. There was a day this week where we thought it really all sort of kind of closed. Like we thought it wasn't going to be a possibility. In fact, we were sitting in a room together, and we just sort of processed. We're like, hey, it feels like the door closed. What are we going to do next? We kind of ironed out a plan, and here's the other things, and we even started thinking about, here's how we're going to talk about it on Sunday. Here's what we're going to do. And I packed up my bag. I was getting ready to leave, and he goes, oh, I got a call. And he got a call, and the door just flung back open in an even better way, which is an amazing thing. So I just kind of looked at God going, that was a fun 4 hours. Thanks. So it's been amazing. And so we just kind of walked that journey over and over again. And I'll tell you, we're taking every step that we know to take, and the doors just keep opening. So we're going to ask if you continue to pray for that. And God may provide us La Scala, or he may provide us something else. But either way, I feel like God says, hey, pray for the things that you want. And then we trust him to do what he's going to do. And so we're in the process of doing that. So we're asking you to continue to pray boldly for that. I said this last week too. I said, many of you have been attending our church, but you're like, hey, I go here, but you're not involved yet. You haven't taken a step with us. And so I'm saying, hey, we would love for you. This is a great season to make this church your church, right? Which means if you're not volunteering yet, we'd love to invite you to volunteer. If you're not giving yet, we'd love to invite you to give and invest in this place. And if you're not inviting other people to be a part, we'd love for you to go, hey, tell everybody that you know about what's happening here. We want to make this church your church. And then the next thing is this, and this is a fun thing to talk about, is we said we're going to move together in faith, continually moving together in faith as if God's going to give us this building. And I told you last week, I think last week we had 56 days to raise $85,000 is what we were trying to raise, which is a really exciting, sort of big, hairy, audacious goal. That's what it's going to take to redo the space in La Scala. I'll tell you this too. A couple of you have asked, why 85 if we're going to be leaving there in 2 to 3 years? What's interesting is it looks like the lease rate that we're going to get, how much we'll be paying for that, is actually to a point that with that and the 85,000, it would actually cost the same amount as what the next location or the other sort of variance of that would be. So we're going to be raising that money either way. But in this, we get 24/7 space and a building to do that with. So I challenged you. I said, hey, I'm going to ask you to give above and beyond what you're currently giving with your tithes and your offerings and that sort of thing. And I want to tell you what you did in 1 week. I think this is extraordinary. In 1 week, we've already raised in commitments $37,370. Yeah, you can give it up. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Which means we're 44% of the way there, which means we still have, Ryan, 66. Oh, that's embarrassing. Oh, see, I'm with the words, not the numbers. There you go. Yeah. So we got that amount more to raise in 49 days, right? So we have 49 days to do this, and I'm going to ask you to join us in that. And so many of you have already started giving. We want to say thank you so much. If you haven't given yet, I'm going to ask you to do two things. I'm going to ask you to consider giving sacrificially, right? So many of you are giving your tithes offering. That's great. What would it look like for you to give sacrificially in this season? And then the other one, and this is kind of an awkward ask, but it's easy for me to make because I believe in you, and that's this. I want to ask some of you to give the largest gift that you've ever given to a nonprofit before. And I want you to stretch in that way, right? I want you to see what that's like. And that's a big step. It's a big deal for you, but I believe that we can do this together, but it's going to take all of us kind of joining in to do that, right? And there's no amount. Some of you are like, I got like X amount of money, and I don't know if that's enough. Everything, right? When I look at that, I'm going like, that's a light, because we need to be able to see, right? Like we need everything to come in, and I'm going to ask you to sacrificially give, and many of you to give the largest gift you've ever given to a nonprofit before, and join us in this journey so that we can do this. So we're going to continue to update you every single week, but this is where we are right now. Now, the second thing, when we talk about moving forward together in faith, this is fun for me. We're going to do a serve day this coming Saturday. So Saturday morning, we're going to do a serve day. We're going to be there from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's going to be one shift. And then there's a shift that's going to be from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., right? So if you're like an afternoon, you're free in the afternoon, great. If you're free in the morning, that's great too. Then we're going to eat lunch together right in that 12 to 1 window. But I'm going to ask you if you're available on Saturday to join us. And then if you're not available on Saturday, I'm going to ask you to cancel your plans and join us on Saturday, right? I really would love for us all to come together. What we're going to do is we're going to clean this place up and get it ready for us to start to do some of the work together. Now, I'll give you a couple of examples of what it is. It was a restaurant. It was a bar. They essentially just closed the doors one night and they left, which means there's like alcohol all over the place that we need to take out. Don't take it with you, or if you do, don't tell me. Like, just take it out of the building, right? Whatever that is, right? We got to clean it. There's nails coming out of the wall. We're going to pull those out so that we can paint, all that kind of stuff. But we need a lot of hands to be able to make this possible. So I'm going to ask you to join us. Now, to do that, we created a little website for you. You can go to nuvochurch.org/next, nuvochurch.org/next. All the details are there. There's a website. We'll show you this picture real quick. On the website, it's got two little buttons to give and then also to sign up to serve. You can do all of that right there on the site. In fact, some of you are like, you know what? I think I should do that right now. And I agree with you. So go ahead and pull out your phone. You can go ahead and just do that right now. Sign up for whichever time works best for you. But we would love for you to join us this Saturday as we sort of lean in to this building.